story to tell. The F-22 Raptor was developed in the late 1970s as a specialized air superiority fighter for the US Air Force. In response to the Soviet Union with MiG-31 Foxhound heavy interceptors and Su-27 flanker fighters. Raptor was put into service after delays and several design cost cuts. The main reason was the collapse of the Soviet Union, and the United States suddenly no longer had a driver. Therefore, it was not until December 2005 that the F-22 Raptor entered service and was the world's first fifth-generation fighter. Because the price and maintenance costs were twice as high as originally planned, the F-22 fighter had to stop production very soon. The last order was in 2009, and the line closed in 2012, too short compared to the F-15, which is still in production to this day. The US Air Force bought only 187 in a plan to produce more than 700 F-22s. Therefore, do not constitute a significant force in the US Air Force. During its first 15 years of service, the F-22 was unrivaled. The F-22 did not have the opportunity to engage with heavy fighters like Russia's Su-27 or China's J-11B to demonstrate its capabilities. While the F-15, the fourth-generation predecessor of the F-22, saw effective air combat capabilities in the hands of Israel and later the US and Saudi Arabia during Operation Desert Storm against the Iraqi Air Force. But the F-22 never had a chance to prove itself a worthy investment. Designed to be a very specialized fighter for air combat, the F-22 doesn't have any combat situations to prove itself. The F-22 is only a deterrent weapon to maintain the balance of power in Europe and the Pacific against potential adversaries such as Russia, China, Iran, or North Korea. The F-22 entered the same path as the F-14 Tomcat before it. The changing nature of war forced the US to modify the F-22 to suit the ground attack role, going against its original philosophy. Although expensive, complex to maintain, and not specifically designed to attack ground targets, the F-22 still has to take on a number of combat missions. Otherwise, would face criticism as a useless aircraft. But due to its stealthy design, the F-22 could not be an effective attack aircraft, largely because its internal weapons bays were too small to accommodate large diameter cruise missiles or bombs, weapons needed for ground attacks. The F-22 has been adapted to carry small diameter guided bombs in limited numbers. Therefore, The F-22 will only be suitable for ground attacks in small conflicts, when the enemy's air defense system is not available or too weak. The F-22 first entered combat during an airstrike against the Islamic State group in Iraq in 2015. The F-22 was later deployed to Afghanistan to fight the Taliban insurgency. The F-22 is not really an ideal aircraft for the ground attack role, especially when compared to the F-35, the Su-57, or to older American fourth-generation fighters like the F-15E. The question is the US Air Force too wasteful to use an expensive fighter only to attack ground forces that are completely defenseless? These missions only need fighters like the F-16 or even the A-10 to be better able to accomplish. Trying to turn an aircraft built specifically for the task of air superiority into a ground attack aircraft is a really reluctant job of the US Air Force in the face of public pressure, so that the F-22 is not considered a useless aircraft. My video about the US F-22 Raptor ends here. Thank you for watching. If you find this video interesting, please give me your thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to support the channel. Goodbye and see you again in the next videos. Tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại quý vị và các bạn trong các video tiếp theo.